If you're thinking of buying a home right now, there's one moment in the process where more deals fall apart, more buyers panic, and more money is either saved or lost than almost any other step. And that's the home inspection. And here's the problem. Most buyers don't mess up because of what the home inspector finds. They mess up because of how they react to it. In fact, one of the mistakes on this list is the exact reason that some buyers walk away from perfectly good homes, while others end up buying homes that they regret. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 10 home inspection mistakes that buyers are still making in 2026, including a few that almost nobody talks about. And by the end, you'll know exactly how to handle your inspection just like a pro, so you don't lose the deal or make the wrong one. But first, let's start with the mistake that can cost you the most right out of the gate. Number one is skipping the inspection altogether. And I still see this happening more often than you would think. People walk into a home, it looks perfect, clean, updated, and very well maintained. And then they think they don't need one. But here's the reality. What you see isn't always what you get. Inspections uncover what's behind the walls, above the ceilings, and underneath the systems that you're not interacting with every single day. And this also applies to brand new homes. Just because it's brand new construction does not make it perfect. I've seen brand new homes missing insulation, incomplete installations, and items that were simply just overlooked. Skipping the inspection is basically like buying it blind. And that's a risk that you don't ever want to take. Number two is skipping additional inspections that the general inspection doesn't often cover. Now, this is one of those hidden mistakes that can come back and haunt you later. So a standard home inspection is great, but it doesn't look at everything. So if you have a pool, a seawall, a septic system, well water, or even certain environmental concerns like mold, those often require separate inspections. And in Florida, especially things like a 4-point inspection and wind mitigation reports can directly affect your insurance. This is where buyers sometimes think that they're covered, but they're actually not. And missing one of these can turn into a much bigger issue down the road, or it can cost you yearly on your insurance. Now, number three is one that sounds small, but can cost you big, and that's choosing the cheapest inspector, just to save money. Now, I get it. By this point in the process, you've probably spent money on deposits, appraisals, maybe even on some inspections on other homes that didn't work out. But this is not the time to cut corners. A cheaper inspection can sometimes mean less time at the property, less detail in the reports, or less experience identifying some issues. And the difference between a good inspector and a bad one can literally be thousands of dollars. This is one of the areas where spending a little more upfront can save you a lot later on. Number four is being too involved during the inspection. And this one surprises people because, yes, you should absolutely attend your inspection if you can. But there's a difference between being there and being in the way. If the inspector is constantly being interrupted, followed too closely, and pulled into side conversations, it can actually distract them from doing their job thoroughly. The best approach is to let them work, take notes as they go, and then have a full conversation at the very end. That way you get the benefit of learning without increasing the chance of something being missed. And a good inspector can explain what to worry about and what not to. Now, number five is where a lot of buyers start to spiral a little bit, and that's expecting the home to be perfect. This is probably the biggest mindset shift that buyers need to make. There's no such thing as a perfect inspection report. Even very well-maintained homes are going to come back with a list of items. Sometimes it's a long list, but that does not automatically mean that there's something wrong with the house. A lot of what shows up are maintenance items, aging components, or small fixes that come with normal home ownership. The inspection's not a pass or fail test. It's a snapshot of the home's current condition. And if you expect perfection, you're almost guaranteed to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Now, this next one is where things really start to impact your decisions. Number six is focusing on the wrong things. When buyers see a long report, everything can start to feel equally important, but it's not. There's a big difference between a loose cabinet hinge and a roof that's nearing the end of its life. So between a cracked tile and an electrical issue, the key is learning how to separate those cosmetic items from true concerns. The items that matter most are the ones tied to safety, major systems, insurance, or expensive repairs. If you don't filter that report correctly, you can end up overreacting to some small things, or worse, underreacting to the big ones. And this leads directly into number 7, which is one of the most important steps after the inspection. And that's not having a strategy conversation with your realtor. So this is where deals are either protected or put at risk. So once the inspection comes in, a lot of buyers either want to ask for everything or they're afraid to ask for anything. But the smartest approach is often somewhere in the middle. You want to sit down and talk through what actually matters, what's reasonable to request, how the home was priced, and how the current market is behaving. Because the goal is not to just win the negotiation, it's to keep the deal together while still protecting yourself at the same time. Now, number 8 is one that gets overlooked all the time, and it happens right before closing. So that's not verifying that the repairs were actually done correctly. So if a seller agrees to fix something, that's great, but it doesn't always mean that it was done properly. Sometimes repairs are done by licensed professionals with documentation, and sometimes they're done as quickly and cheaply as possible just to check off a box. This is why for certain items like electrical, plumbing, roofing, or anything safety related, it can make sense to have those items documented or rechecked before closing. It's not about creating problems or additional problems, it's about making sure that the problems were actually solved. Now here's one that most buyers don't even think about until it's too late. Number 9 is not understanding how inspection issues can affect insurance, financing, and some future costs. So some items in an inspection report are more than just repairs. They can actually impact whether you can insure the home or even close on it. Things like older roofs, outdated electrical panels, plumbing issues, or any safety concerns can raise red flags for insurance companies and the lenders. So when you're reviewing your report, you don't just want to ask, what is this? You want to ask, what does this mean for me financially? And in instances of FHA loans, what does my lender require to get done to get this home financed? And finally, number 10. And this is the one that ties every single thing together. And that's letting that inspection scare you without putting it into proper context. Inspection reports are designed to highlight issues. That's their job. They're not written to make you feel comfortable. They're written to point out what's wrong and what might need future attention. So when you read one for the very first time, it can feel overwhelming. I've seen buyers go from excited to completely stressed out in minutes. But the key is to step back and look at the full picture. Is this a solid home with some normal wear and tear? Is it a home with a few negotiable concerns? Or is it something with some serious issues that truly changes the deal? Because every home's going to have some findings, but not every home has problems that should stop you from buying it. At the end of the day, the inspection is one of the most powerful tools you have as a buyer. It's your opportunity to understand the home before you commit to it. But it's not just about the report. It's about how you interpret it, how you negotiate from it, and how you move forward with it. Now, if you're thinking about buying a home here in Sarasota or anywhere along the Suncoast, and you want help navigating inspections, addendums, negotiations, or just figuring out what homes make the most sense for your situation and budget, feel free to reach out. Every day we get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you wanting to move here, and we'd love to help you as well. So if you'd like to get our free Sarasota Red Flag Checklist, just click on the link in the comments below. For Living and Buying in Sarasota, I'm Rob Rovnak. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.